What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. We got our first sneak peek look at Verdansk returning to Warzone, as some of the New York Mets were able to go down to Activision and play Verdansk early. And Juan Soto shared some of that experience on his Instagram. We saw a little tidbit of gameplay, and we also got to see some of the operators. Now, what I noticed right away from these operators is they look very Modern Warfare 2019-esque, so that leads me to believe that Season 3 is going to be very much a revisit to Modern Warfare 2019 in overall operator aesthetic. And that might be really good for the game. It might ground the game a little bit more, but you're still going to have Ninja Turtles running around on Verdansk. So bringing back the original aesthetic of MW 2019 is a good idea in concept, but it's not going to drown out all of the other ridiculous cosmetics that are in the game. So nonetheless, it's a band-aid solution to a bigger problem that the game has, which is a pure lack of identity, which we've talked about so much. But nonetheless, I think it is clear that the market is going to start to ramp up for the return of Verdansk into Warzone. We're going to start seeing a little bit more information regarding what's coming to Verdansk, what's potentially coming to Season 3, as it's been pretty quiet on that front. We know that we're getting a brand new Zombies map, we know Verdansk is coming back, and that's basically it. Which I do find odd, considering the fact that this season was supposed to release just a couple days ago. So you can't tell me you didn't have a roadmap already in mind if it was supposed to release a couple days ago. Now, my suspicion is that they're just trying to create a lot of curiosity around Season 3, but it just makes me a little bit concerned. Like, wouldn't you want to start building hype as soon as possible? But maybe they're really trying to overwhelm you with Verdansk member berries and nostalgia to hide the fact that Season 3's content for multiplayer is going to be a little underwhelming. And maybe that's exactly what their plan was, because if we look at Season 2 of Black Ops 6, Warzone was extremely underwhelming. It was a bunch of quality of life fixes that didn't really fix the quality of life of the game. So now they are desperately hoping that Verdansk is going to save Warzone. And I hope it does. I really do. This isn't me trying to be facetious or anything like that. I want to see Warzone succeed. I want to see it be as successful as Black Ops 6's multiplayer. I want both to thrive and survive. I think they can do so independently without having to rely on each other's mechanics, but that's my personal opinion. So when I see Verdansk's return to Warzone being this big celebration within the community, I really hope that they don't let the community down. Because if they fail with Verdansk, that's it. It's done. Like, people are going to have zero faith in whatever Warzone produces. And frankly, this is a much different situation than when Fortnite brought OG back, when they brought the OG Fortnite map back. It was a lot different because Fortnite wasn't in this tailspin. It wasn't in a situation where the quality of life of the game was tanking. They brought it back to bring players back into the game. It was a really good idea, but they hit it out of the park. It wasn't one of those last-ditch efforts to maintain relevancy as a franchise. They had that relevancy. But this is kind of all in for Verdansk. And this is a situation where they are very much do or die. That's the feeling I'm getting from Warzone right now, with the leak saying that a potential for Warzone 3 is in jeopardy if Verdansk doesn't do well. It leads me down that path to say that maybe Call of Duty is going to get out of the Battle Royale game altogether if Verdansk fails, which would be surprising because it is such a massive cash cow opportunity. But they've just handled it so poorly. They think that all of it should ride on a map, when in reality it's the overall experience that has just completely fallen by the wayside as they have shoved more and more monetization down your throat while letting the entire gameplay experience suffer as a result. I hope that they rely on gameplay changes to fuel the excitement around Verdansk, to fuel long-term investment from the community, instead of trying to cash in on short-term investment off of nostalgia and member berries. Because that's what it feels like right now. It feels like they're doing this to try to cash in on nostalgia more so than anything else. They've had multiple years of opportunity to learn from mistakes to lead to this point. This could be a massive turning point for Warzone. The question is it going to be a turning point for the positive or for the negative? Is Activision going to show that they've learned, or are they just going to repeat the same mistakes that they've done time and time again? That's going to be my takeaway from the return of Verdansk. I am going to hop back into Warzone, even though I haven't played much of the mode in the last 4 years. But it's because I'm curious to see if it can excite me the same way that Verdansk did when it first originally released. And I'm somebody who enjoyed Blackout when it released with Black Ops 4. I didn't think it was worth sacrificing a campaign for, but I still thought it was a good idea for Treyarch to do. So when I saw Call of Duty Warzone come out back in 2020, I was excited. I played a lot of it. It was fun. But to think that just bringing back a map is going to recapture that is really, really flawed thinking. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Activision's going with here. They think that just having the map back is going to be enough. It's like remastering a map back to Black Ops 6, thinking that that's going to recapture people's enjoyment of the game. It's not. If anything, this feels like they are trying to put a band-aid solution on a problem that they have no idea how to fix. And that might be my biggest takeaway, is I don't even know if Activision or Raven Software knows what they need to do to make Warzone better. I think they're all out of ideas and have tried nothing. Because that's what they've done so far. That's their track record. And that just shows me that they don't really know what to do. They're so scared of going out of their comfort zone again that they're not going to try anything different. And that's why we're getting Verdansk only a few years after it originally released. Even though I think it's a good idea in concept, I don't know how it's going to follow through in execution. And to ride so much of the future success of a Battle Royale in Call of Duty on the return of Verdansk is definitely a gamble. It's definitely a choice. Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm some doomer, that I'm praying on the downfall of Warzone, that I'm praying for Verdansk to fail. I don't want to see that. Again, I want to see a scenario where both Warzone and multiplayer thrive. Personally, I just think they need to reevaluate how they approach Warzone and multiplayer. I said it before, and I'll repeat it here if you haven't heard it. I don't think that they should be tied together. They shouldn't be integrated together. They should be their own separate entities. Which means, hey, they'd have to move away from COD HQ. Oh, shucks. I'd love to see that. Which means we wouldn't have these massive integrations that cause more bugs, which would benefit the community. And each game could focus on their own mechanics instead of trying to integrate one another together to work on both systems. It doesn't make sense. You can have Warzone, which could be a grounded Battle Royale mode, which is what it was when it originally came out. And this is going to be the problem with the return of Verdansk. People are going to be reminded right away it's not that grounded Battle Royale experience you had back in 2020. It's completely changed because the identity of Warzone and Call of Duty has completely changed. Same thing goes for multiplayer. Like, the identity of multiplayer has completely shifted since Modern Warfare 2019. And it's shifted only because of greed. That's why. I mean, if the crazy skins didn't sell and didn't make them a ton of money, they wouldn't be in the game. But they do. I can't blame them for eroding away their own identity because, hey, it makes the money. That's what their job is to do. They're there to make as much money as possible. I can't fault them for that. But all of this is to say that I hope that the return of Verdansk for Warzone is a positive thing. I want to see it succeed. Because then we could potentially get a new map like Avalon that could be great. We don't know. No one knows because they decided not to release that map yet. There's rumors that it won't release until later 2025 or early 2026, which still never made sense to me. Why they decided Area 99 was needed at launch is beyond me. That's maybe the worst Warzone map ever. And at least we know that Verdansk coming out will at least provide a better experience map-wise than whatever Area 99 is trying to be. Just a terrible map, and I don't know what they were trying to do with that. But those are my thoughts. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about the return of Verdansk? Do you think that this is do or die for Warzone? Do you think that if this fails, then all of a sudden we don't see Warzone ever again? I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.